Hello, welcome to the Power of Soft Skills podcast. I'm Emily Gibbons. I'm the CEO of English and Soft Skills, and I'm a communication coach to senior executives. So, whether you're just starting out or a leader aiming to improve your team's success, this podcast is for you. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Power of Soft Skills podcast. I'm Emily Gibbons, your host, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by the wonderful and highly talented Dalal Haouassia.
Thank you.
Dalal has been setting strategies across the whole region and globally using a blend of data science, coaching and soft skills to fuel real growth. Dalal is truly and genuinely passionate about people and performance, and she is on a real mission to build workplaces where talent thrives and success is shared by everybody. Today we're going to be discussing three main areas: defining, owning your career, the role of leadership and HR contribution to owning your career, and we're going to be talking about self-leadership and personal motivation. Dalal is a mum of three and she is a soprano in a choir, so she is loud when she sings and she's very loud when she advocates for what she's passionate about. Dalal, we're really thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you so much, my dear. I'm really pleased to be amongst your podcast today.
Wonderful, thank you. Looking forward to the discussion.
Sure thing.
So, Dalal, you're a strong advocate for career ownership.
Yes.
Could you define what career ownership is and what makes you so passionate about this?
What makes me really so passionate about is really how can we create impact on people, but creating the impact positively. By creating this impact, these should mainly come also from people, which means that we need also to that each individual own its career and own its individual development plan. By that, you can also leverage on all the tools that we have internally on each company, and depending also on the strategy and the ways on where the company would like to drive talent, we are investing on the exposure and as well as the opportunities that we can offer internally for each one of them. So it starts by your own development, by developing a strong individual development plan,
Right.
planning your career through knowing also what are the areas of development, as well as how can I invest in my strengths. So this is like a first key to your success internally.
Right. And how can we develop this sense of career ownership? What sort of strategies should we be using or could we use to develop this or to even become aware of it?
So for me, what is wrong today in the majority of all the multinational companies and sometimes even the national companies is that people are expecting that the HR is coming to them to show them the opportunities that they can embrace internally. But
Right.
what we need really to do is that each one of us should own the career by as I said, we should split our career into 70-20-10. 70% we gain from we develop our development through on the job, which means I am identifying my development item. I am identifying the area that I need to where I have like a sort of gaps.
Right.
By doing a strong and a fair gap fit analysis assessment, by also checking what is really missing in my career in order to allow me to grow. Is it a capability assessment that I need, or is it a leadership pillar that I need to work on? So I'm leveraging on those tools. If I don't have this really mindset of critical analytics and also this critical thinking, it's a bit like, let's say, not easy to manage, because you are always raising your expectations toward the HR, but not raising expectations toward yourself. So you need to have this critical sense in order to be fair toward yourself by assessing the gaps when it comes to your skills and assessing your gaps when it comes to your style of leadership. Once you are analyzing that, you will like put a plan on how can I develop them on my current job, how can I be exposed to new project or seeking or checking cross department or with a strong or a fair and real conversation with my manager about how can I be exposed in the future by taking maybe extra project, or sometimes by being exposed even to the leadership team, by showing them how can I create the impact, but creating the impact positively and following also the business strategy and also the vision of each company. And also by the end, the 10% it's on learning and how can I really leverage on developing my skills through learning. So the 10% related to learning is only representing 10%. The 20% is shadowing and exposing myself to new project, and the 70% is about knowing what are the different gaps that I need to fill.
Right. And I mean, in the companies, what are the opportunities to do that? Because I think we both kind of know that, you know, we're in a job or we're in a career and we think that that's the path we take. How do we develop even a mindset to know that, you know, we have to own our career? How do we get into that frame of mind?
It comes also from the HR, because HR should educate their people, the people that they are managing, that people should own their career, because we've been always wearing this hat of I am the one driving your career, I am the one planning for your succession plan, I am the one who taking your path in terms of how can you progress internally. But the HR, this change should come also from the HR and from top management. It should be cascaded to direct reports and direct reports of direct reports through a strong communication. It's a chain of change management that it will allow us to bring everything from the front and cascade it until it comes to the latest line of the company. But it should come from the HR itself.
Right. And when we talk about leadership and we talk about the role of leaders and the role of human resources, we know that leaders can drive so much of what happens within an organization. And, you know, I'm wondering, what are the biggest factors that enable leaders to foster this career ownership within the companies, you know, an environment of career ownership?
For me, leaders are having this obstacle when it comes to them controlling the careers of their direct reports. This is really the flag or the things that we have that we need also to manage when it comes to our leaders and senior people managers. Because most of the time, we tend to have those managers are the one like taking and putting people in different boxes. But it should not be the case, because it should be developed through conversation, real conversation, fair feedback, constructive feedback as well about each one of us. And we tend sometimes, it is unfortunate what I'm going to be sharing, but we tend sometimes to have this personal attachment to some individuals or some people that I'm having as a direct report that I need to progress because I care about them and don't want to lose them, because they are like a key pillar in my team. And I don't really give the opportunity to others to develop conversation or to talk about themselves, because I'm already drawn in the other part of the teams that I tend to have preference for them. But it's not really part of the leadership. It's like management more than leadership. But when it comes to leaders and true leaders, they are having like conversation regarding checkpoints, let's say. They are having stating on each checkpoints, and they are caring about having a strong conversation when it comes to development or of their direct report. In the development of their direct report, we tend to have the preference of our direct report. What do they want to develop in their career? Are they interested by other department or not? Would they love to explore more opportunities outside of the department that they are sitting on? So those kind of conversation will allow us to draft or have a pre-draft of a strong individual development plan, because I'm gonna know deeply my team and also have the opportunity to deep dive into their skills and also explore the opportunities that they might have. I should be open and embracing also new change for my team, as well as preparing my successors, because I can't not be filling the position for forever.
Sure. And as we sit today, how much is this in companies? Is this happening in every company? Are they encouraging career ownership, or is it just a few companies who are advanced? Where are we?
I can have a visibility about all the companies across Africa. Let's say not to be exclusively talking about Morocco, but we're gonna more or less be talking about Africa as a scope.
Yeah.
When it comes to multinational companies, I do know that we have global guidelines cascaded to be and respecting a certain calendar. So we have the obligation, let's say, by a calendar that it is fixed by the global and also cascaded and adapted as per the culture of each continent, to have a strong conversation when it comes to objective setting and another check-in related to the well-being, because most of the multinational companies are prioritizing well-being, and also another check-in related to the talent development.
Right.
So we have the conversation when it comes to talent development. Sometimes the quality of the discussion are not that much or meeting the expectation, but they need to have a strong individual development plan as well as a real succession plan, and also exploring different opportunities or projects that we can have. It can be through gigs, it can be through short-term assignment, it can be also leveraged through long-term assignment.
Right, right. And from a HR perspective, how can employers, how can you help them from a HR perspective to take ownership of their career? Because I think we're kind of used to being guided and told. How can you as a HR help people?
By creating proximity with employees, we need to be really having this open communication between HR. We need to before being a human resources or currently a people and culture, human resources, we have the human before the business partners. So, and we try to also strengthen this word. By people and culture, we have the people and the culture of the company. So we need to create this proximity and the trust that each individual should have with the HR business partner or the people and culture business partner. We tend not to have, because we have a certain, let's say, reputation that we're not that much trustable, but we are changing by creating the proximity with people, especially when it comes to, for example, we tend to have an Ask Me Anything sessions with all the employees.
Right.
All employees are coming with their question related sometimes to their careers, related to how they can inputs in the systems, because sometimes it's quick questions or quick wins that you can implement in each company. It will bring you a lot of benefits, and it will educate our people to come to you directly whenever they have a certain ambiguity or clarification that they need to have about their career, or even other topic that we might explore.
Right. And from your experience, have you been through your own career ownership journey?
Yes,
Right.
Because I'm the one cascading the message, so I need to walk the talk, let's say.
Yes.
So I start by implementing this transparent conversation with my team, and also having this, what do you want to do? Why are you here? What is the impact that you would like to drive on yourself before driving it on the company in this year, without a large projection on the 5 years, because with everything economically having today, with all the at a worldwide level, we cannot that much expect to have a visibility across the 5 next years, but we're talking only early 24 months.
Right.
So what is the impact that you would like to drive on your career? What are the things that you see missing to your next move? By what are you passionate? Are you passionate about your job? How? What are your main motivation? So those are friendly questions that brings us to deep discussions.
Right, right. And it's all relatively new. I think this is a new way of thinking, if you like. Is it the younger generation that are really into this, or an older?
No, not really. I'm a strong believer of early career and Gen Z generation, because they tend to bring us to a new digital era, let's say.
Yeah.
Before that, we had that, but we didn't it wasn't exposed digitally, let's say. The new things is only on the digital way.
Right.
But those conversation was since I think a decade ago, let's say, they started. But the new change is to have the conversation on a platform, and it can be accessible to each one of us.
Right.
To a new hire sitting in another continent, interested by someone, for example, in the African continent, we can expose and also give the opportunities to have a worldwide connection across all the continent. This is the new things.
Right.
But before that, we tend to have also the development and career conversation with all our employees. But I will tend to say that post-COVID changed everything.
Really?
Yes.
What changed?
Changed everything because people started to be aware about their development, wanted like to have the eager to develop themselves, and also putting in place the work-life balance, the well-being and the development. I would like to develop, but at the same time, I would like to keep my work-life balance healthy.
Right. And you mean you mentioned about COVID there. Is this because during COVID we were all able to go online and access different courses and learn about new areas and new topics? Is that
Yes.
what sort of led to this?
Yes, because for example, before that, we wasn't into the blended learning.
Yeah.
We wasn't that much into digital tools and digital platforms. COVID taught us that we can do everything. We can respect and work on our KPIs and be efficient, digitally speaking, and also blended learning way.
Right, right. Wonderful. So obviously in all of this, to manage or to own your own career or to, paint your own painting or to write your own book.
Your own history.
Right, yeah, create your own history. There obviously has to be a lot of self-leadership and personal motivation involved in this as well. And, we have to take responsibility ourselves for it. So, what does self-leadership look like? What does it look like in practice, and how do we develop a mindset of moving towards owning our own career? How can we change a mindset?
For me, I'm gonna go through a theory that we developed. It's sometimes you need to observe your own situation,
right?
And then through your own situation, you will draft a hypothesis. Let's say, through this hypothesis, you will leave an experience. It will take you to a results. These results gonna drive you to leave another experience to end up by a conclusion. This conclusion is your self leadership. Because today, when we are observing our self, we need to be critical toward ourselves. We need to be fair toward ourselves, and we need to be also honest through ourselves. If we are faking it to be really that much beautiful, we're not serving that much our own leadership. So we need, whenever we would like to to develop our own self-leadership style, we need to be first critically analyzing ourselves, and as well as our way of doing things. Because sometimes we're judging positively, too much positively most of the time,
right.
And we refuse to see ourselves in a negative era.
Right.
This is exactly the things that the most challenging component, let's say, whenever you're discussing with yourself, because it's hard on us to accept that we're not good, and sometimes it's hard on us to accept that we need to develop ourselves, and we have certain development item that we need to tackle. So for me, this is the hardest part of the journey. Right. Whenever you're critical analyzing things.
Right.
Whenever you're coming to that, you should build a strong plan for yourself. This is me. This is my current status. I am micromanaging, for example, my direct report.
Yeah.
I am sometimes not that much into well-being because I'm really getting a lot of pressure by the business priorities and everything. Once you have that, you can build your own personal development plan that will lead you to develop a certain own leadership that it will be cascaded to your direct reports. Right. So this is how I am seeing things, observing the situation as it is, having a certain strong and real hypothesis, living with this hypothesis and experience that it will lead me to a results. These results will bring me to a strong development plan to live with this development plan and other experiences. And by this, you will get a strong conclusion about how you will make things happen.
Right. And when we think then about, our motivation, when we're on this journey, our motivation, how can we stay motivated maybe when we've got challenges to our career or we're having setbacks? How can we stay motivated?
How can we stay motivated? We should first deep dive about our reasons of what drive us the most in our career. Because sometimes careers is not only driven by promotions. Sometimes careers is driven by financials, and sometimes career is driven by self-esteem, and sometimes career is driven by the recognition. So you need to deep dive into what motivates you the most. Most of the time, for example, people, whenever we're having conversation with them, they are happy sitting in their position, but they would like to be recognized in another way, which is financials.
Yeah.
So we need to deep dive into our main motivation, because this is what it will keep us motivated. And this is also what drives us to develop internally some recognition tools, because the level of motivation of each employee depend on another. Sometimes you have a strong motivated people just because you are recognizing them by a reward or an award, or recognizing them as an employee of the year, and he can stay motivated the whole year just to get it back again by the end of the year. Another people are motivated by having a strong career development plan, and by knowing by when they will go to the next move. And so this is the role, this is exactly the role of the manager, because he need to monitor the different people that he have in the team, and by what they are motivated, and drive that on their career, help them to draft that on their career plan.
And when there is a setback, how do they pick themselves up again?
I'm not getting the question.
Yeah. So let's say you're highly motivated, you have your your career ownership, and you have a vision, and you're going somewhere, and let's say through changes in the market, or through changes in company strategy, where you were going, you're not going because maybe you didn't get the promotion that you were expecting, or you didn't get the recognition you were expecting. How do you pick yourself up to get back on
For me,
the journey?
feedback is the key. We should have like a solid feedback with the manager, and share, because sometimes the manager are not aware. You have a demotivated people, and they would like to quit sometimes, and the manager is not yet informed, because they didn't get the chance to communicate. But we should communicate even with the manager, or your people and culture business partner. But we should create this communication, and this communication, as I said previously, it comes with proximity, by how much I really do know my people. Because if I do know my people, I should have certain clarity, and I will have like a certain honest feedback. This is why we wasn't able to give you the promotion, because you didn't, for example, achieve 1, 2, 3. Because sometimes people tend to admire their work, and they are not yet aware about their development items. They are idealizing the way of their way of working, and their way of doing things, and they don't have these critical thinkings about how they are doing things, if they are doing things in the right way or not. But this is only coming because they didn't before receive any feedback. And also the manager, since he's doing the job, I'm not really in the mood of giving him any negative feedback, or because it's not negative from my end, it's a constructive feedback.
Yeah.
There is no negative feedback, there is only constructive, and the constructive can be perceived positively or negatively. So when you're communicating with your people, and they have a clear understanding about what they need to develop, and what are the things that they are good on, I don't think that you will face this demotivation.
Right, good. And are there some strategies that you could perhaps suggest to remain motivated? What sort of strategies could we use?
So for me, there is, in most of the companies, we have like a sort of surveys. Surveys allow us to know, to have a sensor of how people feel inside of each company. So because most of the time people are expressing themselves, since they know that it's confidential and it's not shared by names, so it's anonymous, so it's give them the opportunity to really express themselves, and how they are seeing themselves inside of the company, if they are also tending to recommend the companies to others, or referring someone's to be recruited inside of the company. So it gives you like a possibility to know, but what is your ratio when it comes to motivation internally.
Right.
It gives you also a possibility to know if people are feeling good in them, in their current position or not.
Right. And we spoke before in a previous conversation about trust,
Yes.
about being able to we have a fear perhaps, of if we really express how we feel, that, this can have an impact on our career. So do you think like the anonymous posts and that, the anonymous questionnaires and that kind of eliminate this fear of not being actually able to express what you
Yes,
think? Yeah.
yes. Those kind of surveys allow you to really know the reality behind your company.
Yeah.
Because trust is to be gained. To gain the trust of each employee, you should really process a lot of things. So each one of us are having like and it's from a human perspective completely normal. So through these surveys, we have a clear visibility about how are we doing and if our people are really trusting us enough or not.
Okay. Before we wrap up, yeah, what would you say to someone who's starting out new on this journey and they want to take charge, they want to take ownership of their career, but they aren't sure where to start? How can they start?
So for me, you should have a strong conversation with your manager. You should also have a visibility about what are the opportunity exposed internally. Go through all the platforms that you have in in your company, because sometimes we're not even aware about especially when it comes to multinational company, because I don't know how is it going, and to be very honest, when it comes to national companies, I don't have a strong visibility. But when it comes to multinational companies, things are really very well processed. You have the learning catalog for sure, where you will have a large catalog of blended learning. Go in a critical analysis with yourself about what are your development items for the moment. Because whenever you're going, for example, through meetings, why you're not speaking publicly, why you are shy, how can you, for example, leverage on your strategic thinking? How can you develop a strategy? How can you create impact? How the impact can be perceived and let's say structured and as the same level of a leadership team. All this you will find it in a catalog of learning within in a blended learning format.
Right.
Go through all this for me, then start and be ready to your first individual development plan conversation with your manager, stating and preparing in advance what are your development item, what are your strengths, what are the outcome that you would like to place through your development item, and what is the need expected from your manager. And be sure if you're going with that in a very structured way, I don't think that your manager will not be supportive. And you can also share this also with your HR business partner, because it will help you to be exposed. Maybe you're not aware of future opportunities.
Sure. Yeah.
And it will give you an opportunity to maybe get in touch with the other departments opening new project or opening new positions that it will create for you an opportunity to grow. No one gonna seek or check for you to grow within the company.
Sure.
If you're not doing it for yourself, nobody gonna do it in your place.
Right.
But if you're doing it, like, you will create the difference between you and the other employees.
Right.
So this is exactly what I'm gonna go with as a strong and solid advice.
Right. So we need to be working on personal branding.
Yes.
I guess we need to be working on personal branding, maybe pushing our hands up for projects that are in other departments, maybe not necessarily within your own department. Lifelong learning, I guess, learning all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, changing the mindset.
We should really learn, because everything is changing in a very fast way.
Right.
Yeah, and for me, the language, also English, sometimes is a barrier for most of good profiles within the multinational companies.
Yeah.
And this is also coming only from a shyness, or because they're not willing to have this public speaking development item that he need to deep dive on.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, English is a key. Opportunities to seek whenever you have an opportunity to create a self brand that you can market internally and externally through platforms dedicated for that. Yeah. Also seek forums and create opportunity to meet leaders. Even if they are not creating these opportunities internally, go for a quick catch up. Be eager to develop yourself and to grow. And it's going to be for sure well perceived if it's done the right way.
Right. So let me ask you about, if we look at the female career, the women's career, the male career, maybe we take time off for various reasons to give maternity, etc., etc. In the career ownership for a female in the workplace, is it different to a male? Are there any barriers for the female's career
For the
ownership?
moment, we're more or less all the multinational company again are forcing women's to and supporting women's in leadership roles and would like to push women's to be equal to men's. We need to mention also that whenever you're on maternity leave or facing different things that another a men are not facing, it's completely different because it's a sort of pausing your career for a certain moment because you're processing a new cycle of life. Like, let's say you're having a child, you need to raise the child, you need for at least 4 months of maternity plus 6 months, another 6 months to regain your balance again and back to the normal life. So this sometimes is considered as an element of pausing the career of each woman, because it's not, and it depends from a woman to another, because we have women who tend to balance between those situations when it comes to personal and professional one, and we have women also others who need time to process things and to back to normal life. So for me, we have a strong leadership development plan for women, because there is a lot of opportunities to expose women. We have also in the most of multinational companies programs of women supporting women, and we have also other programs of how can we make women remarkable, and also how they can also be exposed to different roles that the men are for the moment having. But we can see that the balance is here. We have the support. We don't have the judgment when it comes to positions that was held previously by men. We tend to see for the moment more women's in sales managers position, women's in CEO position, women's in finance department position as a CFO. So we are, from my perspective, start to balance and be equal to men's.
Right, wonderful. And I guess, when you're owning a career, you can still balance your work and balance your life. It doesn't have any impact on that.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, super. Dalal, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your deep knowledge and insights with us today. I think it'll be a great benefit to anybody that joins the podcast today. I think it's clear that taking ownership of our career, it's within our grasp, it's within our own control. And I think it has to be in the right environment.
Exactly. It has to be in the right environment with the right people.
Yeah.
We should also speak up about any toxic environment whenever we are in. And we should also always having the privilege to have the well-being as a first sphere.
Yeah. And again, I suppose my last question to you on this, or my finish up on this, is
yeah, sure.
We see it's coming more and more and more in companies. It'll become the norm. I guess in a few years, everybody will be owning their own career. It'll be part of the trajectory. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it tends to be more vocal.
Yeah.
So everyone for the moment in each company know that everyone should own its career.
Super.
And also prepare the conversation when it comes to development plan, because it's your own development, it's your own career. So own it.
Yeah. I just wonder. We go to university, we study particular fields, and we become, if you like, expertise in that. How do you kind of think about it, let's say, for your kids or that who'll be studying, yet they may not end up in a career in what they studied? Where do we start in terms of what we should be studying in terms of owning our career, because we may not end up doing anything like we've studied?
For me, it comes first from the soft skills that you have. It will help you to, and what passionates you the most will be driven by how much are you aware about what's going on in the markets. And that's why I'm always keen. We are working also with some ONGs to expose our fields in universities, and sometimes in high schools, because it will help you also to know which function I would like to become, or what I would like to do in the future, by which firm I need to choose. Do I need to choose economy, or do I need to choose science? Or sometimes I need to stay only in literature because I really love that and I would like to create impact on that. And it also comes from the education of parents, because sometimes we tend to like idealize in science than other aspects, but we need also to let our kids become what they would love to become and by what they are interested. It's like you're driving also a career
Yeah.
from the beginning, because they are doing what they would love to do, not what we would like them to do.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it's going also in the company. In families, it's like you're owning a small companies.
Yeah.
Everyone should own its career, and everyone should be capable to vocal about its career. So if we're not having this strong personality, and if we're not creating this proximity, and if we're not communicating about what our kids would like to become, we will end up by having the kids just doing the things because others did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you leave here feeling empowered and capable of owning your own career.
Thank you so much, Emily,
Well,
again.
thanks so much. It was really,
Thank you.
really
It was a
pleasure.
great opportunity for me to talk and speak about everything, and I'm pleased to be your guest today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
my
I
dear.
hope I'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, for
Thanks.
sure. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for joining this episode of The Power of Soft Skills. We hope today's discussion has provided you with some valuable insights that you can apply to your own professional journey. So until next time, take care.